Welcome to another APL Spotlight Series. Incredible guests the world over with amazing insights, experiences, all sorts of stuff to share with us, and in particular, high vibe or love. Coming to us again, almost a regular now, Julie Hoyle out of the Bahamas, originally out of the UK. Fantastic background, spiritual teacher, multi-book author. She's got a brand new book out. We'll talk about that in a little bit. Um, a bunch of modalities, but she's been very influenced by India, her Kundalini awakening, and she loves helping others. She's also a show host and much more. Don't want to peg her any which way. She's also a teacher, day job, and still manages to juggle everything because she has a big book of business. So, Julie, welcome back to the show. You've also been on some of our Mind, Body, Spirit panels, and it's great to see you again.
Thank you so much. You know me, I love being here, so I'm up for it.
Well, how is it in the Bahamas? I think we all want to hear about that first. Are you loving the island life right now? It's not too humid.
Yeah, right now we're fingers crossed that we won't have a heavy storm, but it's, grey, it's quite windy, it's cool, which is nice. And yeah, there's a storm coming in, so we'll see what happens.
And now, in the bigger picture, some would say the same thing. So let's talk a little bit more about consciousness, staying on the light side of everything. How do we not put our heads in the sand, but keep our focus in a higher altitude or just in a way that doesn't take us down? How do we allow for our own personal growth and expansion more?
Yeah, so I mean, that's a really great question, and that's come up a lot given what's been happening in the world, which we're all, aware of. And like you said, it's important not to put your head in the sand, but it's also equally important not to keep devouring the news, 24/7 and become obsessed by it. And quite honestly, the best way of responding is to be as, uplifted as you can, to stay positive, to stay, inside with respect to your prayer work and to, do what you can. Obviously, if there's a call to action where you can help in some way, either fundraising for different groups or, helping kind of on the front line of charitable organizations, then that call to action will be clearly evident. But if not, the important thing is to stay positive, to keep praying, meditating for world peace, and doing what you can to, stay in that sort of positive mindset.
You've shared on many other appearances here your experiences in India, your own awakening, but could you encapsulate that just for a few minutes so people can get a little bit, either a reminder or a little bit of perspective on where you're coming from?
Yeah, sure. So, I won't go into a great long story, but I was raised in the UK into a working class family, with yeah, raised as a Catholic, but with no real kind of discipline in terms of making me go to church or follow the kind of the Catholic doctrine, so to speak. But I was born with this awareness that there was a greater knowing and a greater calling. And I was having lucid dreams, out of body experiences, very powerful psychic phenomenon as a kid. And so I was looking for someone or something that could reflect that back to me, that, where there was a sense of community. And long story short, I ended up coming to the Bahamas many years ago and joining a meditation group. And then I had a lucid dream and I was given Shaktipat Diksha, which is the awakening of the Kundalini from a great being, a great avadut, a master yogi. He tapped me on the top of the head and awakened the Kundalini energy. And from that point on, it was like there were no limits in terms of the kind of the psychic phenomenon, out of body experiences, visitations I was having, and all kinds of things that can sound crazy, when I share them. But for me, it was just very normal. And it was like I knew it. And then some years after that, I went to India, spent time in India, and there was this absolute recognition that I'd lived there before, and I knew the place really very deeply. So you can say past life recognition and all of those things. Who knows? But I can certainly say that my life has been really transformed and directed by the by this awakening.
I love this. And you keep it real and you keep it grounded and you keep it real grounded. What's your secret to success for not getting too carried off in any one direction, or at least when you turn to give advice to others, or at least remind people of what's forgotten, you keep it as simple as it can be, or authentic, I think would be the word you love.
Yes, that's my favorite. That's my go-to. Well, I think having worked as a teacher, my kind of background and my day job is as a teacher. And of course, you have to be down to earth, straightforward, honest, open, and keep things simple with kids, because if you don't, they'll call you out.
Hmm.
And so, because of that, that has really trained me very well to speak to adults about things that really are very difficult to speak about at the end of the day. It's really hard to put into words these experiences where you have this connection with source itself, with supreme consciousness, or you have angelic visitations, or whatever it is that's happening. You can kind of get into the woo-woo language, and that's not my thing at all. I'm really, as you said, very sort of direct and grounded, I think, because of the teaching.
Hmm. Okay, this is a dual-edged question. What did you have to let go of way back to be on this path firmly? And I think you did share a very good one of those moments at the ashram in India, but it may be something else. And then what have you had to let go of lately that popped back up? Do you mind picking two and sharing?
Yeah, I mean, I did share, I think, last time that the big kind of turning point for me was having to do shadow work. I mean, I was literally kicked into that, thrown into it headlong. I had no idea what that was really until I was, forced to do it. So that really, really makes things very realistic, and it, because you have to look at your conditioning, your belief system, your own lack of self-worth, self-hatred, or whatever's there in the darkness. So you have to work with that. I won't labor that because I think we talked about that last time, but that was really, it was a huge turning point. And because of that, because I knew how beneficial that was, that then kind of directed me into writing about. So I've written 2 books on the shadow, to really give very simple, easy practices for people to look at who want to do their own shadow work. So that was, again, it was really big. And then the other thing that I really had to work hard on overcoming was fear of being seen,
Hmm.
because I'd been, I'm a contemplative by nature. It's very easy for me to meditate, to be quiet, to write in my journal, to read, do the practices. And again, at a certain point, again in a lucid dream, a great being came to me and she said, "When are you writing the book?" So that was the first kind of push into being more out there. And it was terrifying because I had never publicly shared these deeply intimate experiences with anybody, my inner world. And there was fear around that. And then with successive other books and then these other calls to action to create a website, to work with people, that helped me really push through this, I think, quite common fear of being seen and revealing what you know to be true and finding your voice and speaking from a place of authenticity. These are very common. And these are things that I work with other people on. So, I can speak from my own direct experience. And it's very common. It's why people will get a divine kind of hit, or write a book or create a blog. They might get started with it and then they stop because of fear, either fear of failure, fear of being seen, fear of getting it wrong, and all of those things. So, yeah, those 2 things were really big: the shadow work and then fear around, revelation, being seen, showing up.
And if we say the words or phrases unconditional love, compassion, kindness, can you either put those together, pick one of them, but talk about how that's the central theme in a way?
Yeah, so I can speak to, I mean, again, it's hard to put into words what unconditional love feels like, but if anybody's had a near death experience, a lucid dream with a great being, a meditation where you're just swamped with this, as you said, unconditional love. You know what that feels like. It's hard to put it into words, but it's unlike anything I certainly had ever felt before. It's limitless. And it, at the same time, it feels completely organic. It's known. And there's a breath of recognition. There's an all over quality. That you know this, you have been this, you have been in this state before. And I think essentially that's what we're all looking for. We're looking for someone who can see us, and we're looking for this love that is timeless, it's ancient, it's known to us, and it's completely free. And it's available all the time, actually. But what happens is we're so used to living in the conditioned mind, we miss it.
I think we're going to do something spontaneous and a little bit early. I'll blow sage to set the table, which just, if you haven't seen this before, we're a tiny show. But if you've ever watched any of the shows, and I haven't forgotten to do this, I blow sage here in Texas, but you can catch it anywhere in the world. And it's just sage smoke. It might smell like campfire smoke. If you really want to let go, you might catch flowers or extra, if you love India, some extra incense or something, or Native American smell. It's kind of up to you and the universe or angels to bring it through. Your heart knows what to do. Julie, are you already getting it in the Bahamas before I quite finished lighting it?
Yes,
Okay.
yes. I,
Can you get like flowers or close your eyes and get ocean waves, see a dolphin jump, something extra that they'll surprise you with? And if you don't mind sharing out loud, what are you getting?
yes, I'm getting gardenias, which I absolutely love.
Ooh,
And um, the fragrance of those and the abundance of those.
awesome.
And yeah,
And if you can leave your eyes shut, because this is a prelude to the actual, we did a little random step here. If you don't mind allowing some angels to come in, I'll hold up Joy just so we have a placeholder, but let your India crew, other angels come in. Joy, leave your eyes shut. And if you could get something very special for you, you're not going to have to describe it out loud, just say, got it. But they might share a beautiful phrase or a beautiful resonating reminder that's almost more vibration than it is words. That when you're ready, enjoy this for a little bit, you'll come back and share with us. And so it's a very odd but different, and anyone at home can do this. So I'm going to encourage you to first put an emoji down if you've just enjoyed something about this, a comment, share, like, subscribe, the rest of that stuff. But take the time to play it back for the sage. You can pause it on the joy photo and maybe put your hands out, treat her like a fireplace. Or as Julie shares, do the same thing. Close your eyes, go within, let your heart jump into the driver's seat just for 30 seconds. That's all it takes. Okay, Julie, what do you get? What can you share? And did you get something very personal?
yes, I did get something very personal. But which I won't go into. But for everybody else, I was getting this whole flood, not just one angel, but many, many, many angels, and they were saying, "Grace is always here. Just look for the signs." So they're reminding people to look for the signs, which might be in the way a bird is flying, or there's a feather on the ground, or the way the grass is moving, or you know. So just be very much aware of everything around you, the way the clouds formations are moving.
Julie,
Um,
absolutely brilliant. Maybe we can do one last little interactive thing, but if you'll close your eyes one more time and put a hand out like you're getting $50 off, camera's fine. Have Grace the angel come in. If you don't mind doing a helicopter landing pad off to the side. Yeah, like that, if it's okay.
oh, got
Yeah,
it.
and it can be off camera. Don't worry about it. Let Grace the angel come into your hand. Be comfortable with it, as if your sister's walking into the room to hold your hand. Let Grace the angel come in, and you might get a human hand holding. You might get a lot of light. Might feel really hot, sparkly, electrical. With the other hand, you can do the same, and you can let Grace the light being come in. Now, she's orange light and enthusiasm, so you're not going to get an overdose on Grace. Certainly, name-wise, you are. But if you don't mind doing this all over again and getting extra expansion, if you want to breathe extra, whether you're a nose breather, mouth breather, open the mouth a little more to have fun, a millimeter counts. And I'm buying a little time for Julie to experience what she's experiencing at home. Even 2 millimeters with the mouth. If any thinking pops in, exhale like a whale. Allow. No triota, but always try Archangel Gabriel. This is why it's not about words. They're both correct. Your heart knows what to do. And then you're getting Grace and Grace, not the law firm, but the fun firm coming in. What do you get, Julie, that you can share with us this go around?
Yeah, it's actually more of the same, and it's a reminder not to forget. Because, especially when there's challenges in the world, it's easy to put your attention to what is happening outside rather than focusing on what you're feeling, what you're intuiting, what feels right for you, what doesn't feel right for you. And that is a form of receiving grace as well. So it's honoring your own intuitive knowing. And that they cite, they're really saying that very, very strongly. And this is how you can change the dynamic of the world by trusting your own intuitive knowing and living from that place.
Do you have another way to say this? And I'll try to just do, if I'm like a painter, I'm just accidentally tripping and my brush is hitting the canvas. I would love for you to do beautiful brush strokes and paint this. Just say the same thing, but a different way. I'll put up joy. And where I'm going with this is everyone has a big heart. It's easy to forget for decades at a time that you have a giant one of these that dwarfs the brain and all the details. But here's joy. She might have a metaphor. If you want to close your eyes, get a vision of something. You're really good at this. What's a way to just flip this upside down, describe something, and somehow it encapsulates what we were just talking about? Everyone's got a seat at the table, of course, but that's a little formal.
Yes. So, what's kind of interesting was I was getting this image as you were sharing of Picasso and what he said when he said that he had to learn to paint like a child when and he became obviously became very famous, but it was because he was painting like a child. He was going back to this kind of quality of wonder and joy
Ooh.
and play. And I think that's really important for everybody, again, especially given the situation we're in the world. If you can trust that playful quality and that joy within you and the things that give you life and enthusiasm and energy, then again you're adding positivity to the world rather than the kind of the worry, and the doubt and the fear and all of those things.
Oh, I like this. Really, really insightful. Okay, I've got a really complex, but not complex quote from maybe 700 AD. I've lost track of where this quote came from. It's Siddha Katrapa, India. And here's the quote. I'll try to put it up in just a second. I wrote this down in 1992 with absolutely no knowing. It wasn't a formal diary, but I put down like 20 quotes that stayed with me for a long time. It took me 16 years to sort of start to understand what non-duality might mean, but here it is. Whatever the yogin sees is his instruction, and realization that all he sees is unborn. That is the most excellent guru. Innocence is the way to realize non-duality, for here the effects of virtue and vice are one. And anyone can freeze frame it if they want to take a look, but I think I got the right author of that quote. And yeah, could you react to that?
Yeah, I mean that says everything because it's really about meeting each moment with this fresh mind, unborn mind, however you want to put it, rather than meeting it with these layers of conditioning, beliefs, thoughts about what's happening. And again, it's coming back to that playful kind of quality of being open, being receptive, and not judging everything.
I love it. Well, I have a couple more quotes from Chogyam Trungpa. Taking one breath is like taking one step. Both bring peace and harmony. And he also said, I'm scrambling here. I have it. Here it is. The way to experience nowness is to realize that this very occasion, this very moment, this very point in life is always the occasion. He said that in 2014. He passed away in 1987. Could you also take both of those and do a little waltz?
Yeah, I mean, again, it's really about meeting everything with this quality of freshness and newness. And one of the things that's coming up is the importance of trying something new.
Mm.
So I just recently joined a group on. I'm creating a new course that's coming up, and I've just joined this group, this community, to help with some of the details of that and how to structure all of that. Just have fun with it. I haven't done it before, but it's just fun. It's new. So again, try something new that you haven't done before. Go learn to tap dance or play a piano or do something, because again, it takes you back to being a child, to being open, to being, in this place of wonder and just having fun.
Talk to us a little bit about the consciousness that's already around and within. It's pre-existing, but whether it's water, nature, um, just the stillness itself. I think again, you have another way to weave or talk about this a little bit.
Yes. So, one of the things that has never changed since I was kind of pushed into teaching and speaking about my own experiences is that I always try to create a safe space for the people that I work with to trust their own innate knowing, because your intuition is the gateway, it's the doorway to discovering the supreme self, the silence of the self, the peace of the self, the stillness of the self. And of course, we have access to that in nature. As you said, when you look at the sky or you look at the ocean, there's this feeling of, there's this vastness. And the reason we connect in when we see the ocean or look at the sky is because we can't see, especially in the Bahamas, you don't see kind of any limits. There's this quality of infinity. And of course, the mind cannot wrap itself around infinity. So what often happens is you drop into the heart. So you drop into stillness, you drop into peace when you're confronted by beauty in nature. And the same is true when you're doing artwork or when you're doing intuitive writing or you're listening to music. So it's really your intuition is the gateway to connecting with this supreme self and the silence of the self. So, that's kind of the practice. And then another practice is to be outside in nature and to connect that way as well. So we have all these kind of doorways or portals that are accessible to us, right? It doesn't have to be some seated, meditation for 3 hours or anything. You can be just digging in the garden or looking up at the sky while you drink your coffee and connecting that way.
Can we get you to be a judo master for a second and give a little judo chop to something, which is but? Someone at home has said, my problem is, my situation is but, and had a reaction. How do you just sort of go, aha, that's the gateway, the opening or opening openness itself? Can you take it from here and keep going with all this?
Yeah, sure. I mean, so language can be, the great yogis call it the matrika shakti. The matrika, it means movement, the movement of sound or the movement of energy. And what happens is we identify with things such as, but I'd like to do this, but I've got a prompt to write my book, but or whatever the story is around that, and we identify with it instead of watching the movement of these thoughts and recognizing that they really do not have any power over whatever the thought is, whether it's really kind of expansive or it's contracting and limiting. It's not the truth of who you are. You are prior to any movement of thought. You are that which watches the thought. You are the awareness in which thought arises. And if you can at least recognize that, then it helps. And it helps to dissolve these words such as but or can't. I can't do this and I can't do that. Because it's all about identification. It's not the word. The word in and of itself doesn't have any power, right? It's the belief in the word. And it's fairly easy to dissolve that once you start seeing through what's been happening and how you've identified with those belief systems.
Ooh, and I think I can explain duality that way because anything you say, it can be on a piece of paper, you look at the sentence, like the weather's really good, but it could be a monsoon out, I'm being sarcastic, and I'm actually talking from the brain, or maybe I'm being funny, I'm talking from the heart. But everything is nuanced here on planet Earth with human beings. And so the distinguishing between brain and heart is such a beautiful skill or a
Yes,
way to pay attention more.
yes, because one of the great yogis that I work with used to say that when you start paying attention to the movement of thoughts and you're calling them out when you actually because you're creating space and you're watching them, right? And then what happens when they're watched enough? They just kind of dissolve. They take rest in the heart, is the way she put it. She said the mind becomes still and takes rest in the heart. And it's in that silence that we have these profound movements of consciousness, expansions of consciousness, these profound messages, inner directives, whatever you want to call them, for our lives and for our highest, and best interest. But of course, we don't see any of that when you're in the mind. There's all these mind loops. You don't hear anything.
Who was the she that you referenced?
The she is Guru Mai Chidvilasananda, who's a Siva master, and she's in the lineage of, I received Shaktipat from Bhagavan Nityananda of Ganeshpuri decades ago, and she's kind of in that same lineage.
And can you put a few sentences to her? How do you like to describe her?
She's a hard taskmaster, and she'll call you out, as do all the scissors, all the great beings. Every authentic master will really call you out on your BS.
Oh my goodness. Okay. I love this. Okay. That I was not expecting. This is awesome to hear. With your permission, a lightning round like out of a game show. I'll put up two figures of angels, two India figures, and then random. And either get something personal, you don't have to share anything at all. They might hand you a mantra to hand to us or a reminder, or it's something else that's just making you laugh and you have to share the joy. Speaking of which, here's Joy the angel. And if you don't mind getting something from her, and I'm sure she has something to share with the audience. What are you getting that you can boomerang back to the audience?
Yeah, joy, you find joy in play. So if you do not have any playful activities in your life, then go find some.
Get off your butt, have fun. Uh,
Yeah.
okay, Charlotte's next. She's like a teacher from third form, third grade, not the mean one though, and not the tough taskmaster. The nice one who you like actually would want to hang out with. Okay, here's Charlotte.
Yeah.
What'd you get from her?
I get to be truthful, be honest, don't concede. We can be so good at pretending we don't know anything,
Mm.
keeping quiet for the sake of conformity, not wanting to be seen. And, there's no joy in that. You're not living, you're just actually performing and going through life trying to please other people. So, be true to you is the key message there.
You keep reminding me of the black and white, but I think it's a 2010, 2011 film out of Paris. Luc Besson, it's Angel-A. It's on Amazon Prime right now. You can watch it. It's a Guardian
Mm.
Angel movie. Luc Besson, who did Fifth Element, The Professional, Joan of Arc, and a bunch of other films. The Transporter series, his Europa Corps has made, 100 films. He had this Guardian Angel script in his desk drawer forever, and in walked this Danish actress who wanted to do a documentary. And he's like, oh my God, she's tall, lanky, white blonde hair. He's like, you're my guardian angel. I've waited for this moment forever. And they literally shut down like the Eiffel Tower to film it. But there's a point where the guardian angel's standing with he's half the height of the angel, the ward, the human being who needs help. And she's at one point earlier, you reminded me of this when she's like, breathe, look at the trees, look at the little oiseau. And then he's still in La La Land, so she hits him and grabs him by the chin like a dog and is like forcing him to look at the trees and take it in. And something else you just said, if people watch this movie, they're going to start laughing. You just touched on it, but I don't want to blow it. So there's a lot of that in there. I've got Ganesh for you next, and then you can pick a figure, and maybe we won't use a photo. We'll have you close your eyes and get a surprise visitor in. Here's Ganesh. Needs no explanation, just good fortune if people need to know. Something. Wind in your sails, more wind in your sails. Gentle but loving and very forceful. Get moving. What's Ganesh have as a reminder for us all?
Yeah, get out of your own way, is saying.
Nice. Um, if you don't mind, close your eyes, but if you could do something unusual with your hand, make a mudra, something you haven't done in a long time that's not necessarily you, but setting a new table. And breathe extra for us. If you're a professional nose breather at home, do it that way. If you don't mind breathing through the mouth. People can close their eyes and get something. I got TV fizzle the very first time 14, 15 years ago when I was given this assignment, sitting in a circle. I literally got TV fizzle, and I'm like, ah, it doesn't work. But we have Julie Hoyle in the Bahamas, author, spiritual teacher, regular teacher, but by that I mean kids. She'll tell us what ages in the past she's done in a little bit, but right now she's getting a visitor who's come in. Just nod if you've definitely got a visitor. Roll with it. I'm going to tell everybody a dad joke that maybe Julie's forgotten if she's heard it in the past. Where in a hospital is the worst place to play hide and seek? Where? In the ICU. When she laughs, we blew it for her. She was having a miracle moment. I just ruined it for her. I'm so sorry, Julie. Okay, but who came in? What were you getting? What can you share?
Sai Baba of Shirdi. I mean, he came in even before you started saying it.
I love it. And I have a colorized version. He loves moving in this photograph, so we're not going to say goodbye to him just yet. If you don't mind catching an India temple smell and even the music as if it's just 5 meters behind you, very strong.
Mm.
He'll wink, he'll shoulder waggle, his ears will move in the photo. Just say yep when you got some sort of movement.
Yep.
Okay, sucks to be you, but at home, look, put an emoji down. You're not saying anything. You're just acknowledging, hey, maybe I had a little bit of fun. That emoji is going to cascade and help somebody else put an emoji. At some point, someone's going to get really brave. We might have had 715,000 views, but it's mostly shorts versus the main programming. And people are so shy, although they are stepping up. They're admitting smelling sage and other stuff. What are you getting from Sai Baba, though, for all of us? He's always deep, simple, clear.
Yes. I was laughing because that's why I was laughing. He came to me and he did this. He said, hearing with this is okay. Hearing here is much better.
Oh my God. That's like totally what you're talking about, the tough taskmaster. They come with maybe flick and then here. Yep, I got it. Interesting. One more. There's the Divine Mother. Okay, since I mentioned the Divine Mother, if you don't mind going Kumbaya one more time, close your eyes and have the Divine Mother come in. This should be big, and she's fun, sparkly. If you're, not paying attention for 20 years and you're way behind, maybe not so fun and sparkly, but that's okay. That's not this audience. They're paying attention. What are you getting from Divine Mother in a moment and in a little bit? We're having the tiger come in too, so he might cheat and come in early. I have a beautiful drawing from an English artist of this tiger, and I'll put it up while Julie's got her eyes open. Um, and here's that tiger. He's action, deity like, furry, and soft. Between the two of them, what are you getting?
Well, the Divine Mother said, you're all my children. You have to learn to play.
Ooh, meaning like get along too.
Yes.
Aw. Okay, where are you starting to take us without having meant to go there? What's starting to percolate and what's coming to the top as sort of the next item, topic, subject matter?
I'm still in the play and the importance of playing and also utilizing your creative energy because creative and spiritual energy are one and the same. So I would really invite anybody who's watching, if you don't have some playful creative outlet, then find something, whether it's, writing in your journal, sketching, learning to, photography or dancing or singing or something. Because, through those activities, we're connecting with the heart, we're connecting with joy, we feel alive, we feel connected. All of the things that make life much more gratifying and, joyful. So it's really important. And I think we can get so serious, especially, again, with what's happening in the world. We can get so serious we forget those things. We forget how to be childlike.
This is good. So yeah, the whole self-importance thing and also taking things too seriously. It's really easy with organizations to get too serious. It could be spiritual, it could be other. And this isn't about more thinking or thinking a certain way. It's about less thinking to maybe zero thinking for a whole 7% of your day. That's
Mhm.
it. Okay. Talk to us about the big heart that everyone's got. Can you reassure people there isn't a lot of like doing or not doing? It's just being.
Yes, just being and again connecting in through the practices or through aspects of nature that you feel a resonance with and a connection with, right? So, again, if a seated meditation just does not work for you, just find a way to be able to connect in with yourself and be quiet within your own being through, walking in nature or going for a swim or whatever it is that brings you back to center and brings you out of the mind.
And we're going to do just that in just a second. You're going to actually, with your permission, lead us for like 30 seconds, but we're going to start with something else, probably our last interactive anything with the universe, or at least at this end. But I'm going to only go 11 above and put my hand up here in good old US of A. And if you don't mind using you as the hand or putting up your hands and feeling what you can feel as a baseline, I'm going to whoosh some light, but it's really the crew, angels, India figures, 11 above. What are you feeling right now before we've begun?
A lot of energy.
That's good. Well, I've been sick for 2 weeks and I'm trying not to use any of my energy. So it's joy and about 100 other angels and a lot of other figures. So I'm barely moving over here. But I am going to whoosh. And here comes one, two, or three whooshes. And after this, though, if you don't mind allowing it to reverberate in and around you, vortices of light. Ooh, remembering what I do on the show. I might even show a little bit of light after this. And then we're going to have you capture, and that's the wrong word, amass, allow to reverberate a lot of love through you and some new form of distribution. Blame angels, blame all your India figures. Okay, here, here comes the first, excuse me, here comes the first whoosh. And if you don't mind, a couple words. What'd you get on that one?
I'm getting the whole kind of movement of energy as this kind of vortex that I'm feeling in my heart.
Yay, perfect. And then if you don't mind, I'm starting to sweat so badly, it's awesome. It just means it's working. Dolphin consciousness, if you can have them come in as a third leg on this beautiful quartz stool with pink glitter in it. Okay, here we go. Dolphin consciousness also for a lot more playful energy. They're going to do all this. Here it comes. Get your little sea spritz on your nose. Checked all those boxes. But what are the dolphins bringing into that one? Oh my God, you're laughing. This is nuts. Okay.
Yeah, again, it's all about play. Today's been really all about play and the importance of finding ways to connect in with yourself in a playful way, find activities, find joy, and share it, right?
And I'm
Don't be
going to two flippers next, and I'm flipping you all the angels, all the India, all the dolphin, and whale consciousness. Let's not be exclusatory here. And we're going to have you percolated around. It's like a giant, oh, I don't know how to say it in French, that soup, bouillabaisse. But it's like a, out of New Orleans, jambalaya. Did I say it right?
jumble up.
Thank you. It's going to be a big mixed stew of love. But here it comes. So let me get back to this. Two dolphin flippers. It's coming your way. I'm blowing extra up top. If you don't mind catching even more extra, like hibiscus, bird of paradise, something. And a profound, profound insight you're dying to share with us in just a moment. Enjoy the squeak, squeak, squeak. The angels singing, splashing, lots of splashing. No water balloons, though, unless you have to. Okay, now what did you get? This is going to be profound, Julie. I'm ready. I've got a seatbelt on.
Well, I got something really unexpected actually, and that is to find a prayer or a mantra that resonates with you and hold on to it and repeat it daily,
Mm.
because again, you help uplift your environment, you help purify your environment, you help to shift the states of people that are feeling anxious or fearful and whatever. So find and it can be the simplest prayer or the simplest mantra, but find something that you can hold on to, especially in tough times.
What are the three over time you've shifted from? You used one for a little while and another for a little while. Can you share a smattering of what you've done in the past?
Well, as I was raised as a Catholic, so I was taught to repeat the Lord's Prayer. So I did that for many years. And then when I received initiation from Bhagavan Nityananda of Ganeshpuri, he gave me the mantra of the Siddhas, which is Om Namah Shivaya. Om is the primordial sound. Nama means I bow to, and Shiva or Shivaya is supreme consciousness. So you're saying, I bow to the light within me. I bow to supreme consciousness within my own being. And I've utilized that for decades, as well as Shivoham, which is the similar, Shivoham is a similar kind of mantra. It's again bowing down to Shiva or consciousness. And then sometimes I've utilized, the Mary prayer, Hail Mary, full of grace, the Lord is with thee, blessed art thou amongst women. I've used that quite a bit as well. So again, it's really about resonance, what resonates with you, and utilizing that as a form of connecting in with your own sacred sense of union with God.
Well, we are going to start to wrap up, but we're going to do two areas first. One, we're still going to play a little bit. Second, we're going to do your book, and then we'll start to wrap up. But with your permission, can you close your eyes and have Shiva herself come in? And just it'll be some sort of interaction, transaction, beautiful, this or that. You don't have to share it out loud. You can just say, got it. Or if there's something you definitely want to share out loud, that'd be awesome. Yeah, I've only gotten to do Shiva. I always forget to do Shiva. So Shiva, here we go. At home, you can just close your eyes if you just want to see India, highest vibration of the forest or the mountains, or you'll get a river. India is like 40 countries in one, so just ask for the highest vibration and be surprised. And put it in the comments. If you bold, do it. Don't hold back. Oh, this is good. And Julie Hoyle, what did you get?
I got the importance of honoring the masculine and the feminine. Lord Shiva represents the masculine, and Shakti is the feminine. So, through play, again, coming back to play is the kind of the expression, the movement of the Shakti. And to be able to enjoy that and to move from that place, if you're connecting with yourself in the deepest, most profound silence within your being, then you're honoring both the masculine and the feminine, the stillness and the movement and the stillness.
Oh, I love what you just said. I usually mess up everything, terminology, pronouns, and everything, but I heard what I just heard from you resonated big time. Very last act of generating a new mantra on the spot. Not that you need any visuals, but I have two for you. It's the same object filmed in sunlight, just two different parts of the day. Call it universal consciousness. Absolutely impossible to get a photograph, but we tried. Here's one version of the object. I'll share what it was that was photographed. If you don't mind allowing something to start to take hold, you're getting obviously help from the crew, unconditional love, India figures, and others. And here's one more version. And just say got it for your new mantra you want to spontaneously share. It's not normally on the menu. So you've had the chefs in the kitchen go off menu, as good chefs will do. And what is your new mantra that was spontaneous? What did you want to share?
Om Om Ganapataye Namaha, which relates to Lord Ganesh and the remover of obstacles. So whenever and I've used that before, actually, not too much, but I have used it before. So whenever you're confronted with something that, feels like it's difficult to kind of circumvent or move through, that's a great mantra. Om Om Ganapataye Namaha.
Love it. Okay, tell us about your book. What do you want to share? It's on Amazon. It's brand new. It's got a crisp cover. What else?
Yes. So let me tell you the backstory a little bit. So it's titled Shadow and Spark, Reigniting Your Creative Fire. And one of the reasons I wanted to write about it and share it is because I've worked over the years with many, 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 many people who have this divine prompt to create a blog or to write something or, do something different. And they start and then they stop. And they usually start and stop because of these old mind loops that we've, referenced through this episode. Fear of being seen, fear of, getting it wrong. There's, all these fears and these old loops and conditioning that comes up to stop them. So I wanted to write to specifically speak about the importance of listening to your inner guidance and then really having the courage to look at the things that pop up to kind of block the flow of that. And the thing is where there's light, there's darkness. So if you can at least welcome both. So if there's an intuitive prompt, a creative prompt to do something, also honor the shadow side of that, and then you're not kind of crippled by it. You're not closed down by it. Mm. So that was really kind of the thrust behind that. And I'm also starting at the end of August a 90-day program for people who want help with writing their book. It's usually spiritual kind of oriented book, or people who've had breakthroughs or near-death experiences. So I'm getting that set up now, and I'm really looking forward to helping people kind of navigate the obstacles that stop them from being able to have these breakthroughs and to create with purpose and intention.
Can you share one more bit of your energy, your love, your awareness, and that somehow, I don't know what this is, I'm just going to do it, has to do with this, maybe here, but definitely here, and there'll be something that you know what that's all about, and this will sort of close us out. Julie Hoyle, what have you got for us? What was this about? I just went with it because it's what I got.
Yeah, so it's what I was just speaking about, because there's a movement that comes from the heart. There's usually an intuitive prompt. There's a message we feel it deeply. There's an all over sensation, right, of rightness that usually lands in the heart. And if we can, allow that to move through us and share from that space, then there's a quality of freedom about it. But it's when we start trying to push it up into the mind to analyze it, or we ask 10 different people, what's your take on it? We get 10 different answers, then we get blocked. So the main thing is when you have an intuitive prompt, really trust the place it's coming from, rather than dissecting it or analyzing it to death and then letting it fall to the wayside. So I would, love if there's anybody who's watching this episode who has a project that they started and stopped, I would really encourage you to stand behind it and start doing that, whatever it takes to put that out in the world, because we need as much positivity as we can get right now. I'm sure everybody will agree with that. And just look at the things that are stopping you.
Let's talk about the spark as sort of a final topic. We're going to culminate with a visual aspect of it. Excuse me. I'm holding the lighter though to remember this, and I'm going to try to do some visuals here because we can go a little bit beyond words, and you're going to carry the flame here, or the spark. But here's just a regular Bic lighter. And are you seeing extra? Are you seeing the normal flame of a Bic lighter, both?
I'm seeing like a lot of light coming out from it.
Good. Okay, and then if you don't mind allowing extra Shakti to come in, or mana, prana, aloha, call it whatever you want, the force from Star Wars, if you don't mind allowing it to sort of vortice swirl in a loving way around you, hopefully we're going to get something profound. I'm going to show a little bit of my light, then I'm out. I'll go bigger and broader, and you'll get extra, and hopefully you'll share something that people can play back, or they can just absorb. It's the transmission they always talk about in Buddhist circles or India circles. I think you're already starting to get it. But here's a little bit of light between my fingers. And in India, they do it sometimes this way, but that's awkward for me. One dad joke real fast. What's the only flower found on the human face? Tulips. And what are you seeing between my fingers first?
I'm seeing the Om sign.
Aw. And then we go bigger. Like, let Shakti, Shiva, Vishnu, Krishna, Ganesh, everybody kick it into gear. Angels as well. And if you don't mind, Julie, just yeah, you're gonna start to run with this. I'm gonna stop and pull the background away. People at home can type a comment though, an emoji. Do a fire emoji if you saw something. There we go. And the spark, something very profound. Where did you just get taken on all of this?
Yeah, I was reminded about something that I was told many, many years ago, soon after I had the shift of consciousness, the radical awakening, that we're taken to we're taken to that which is formless, supreme self, consciousness, whatever you want to call it. We're taken to that which is formless through the form. So we realize the formless through the form. And I was told to remind the viewers to find a form in their lives where they feel God or source, where they feel there's a reflection, there's a form that this being, this God, this sacred thing takes them into that recognition of God within their own being. And again, that's really important. Even if it's only one, even if it's a picture of Jesus on your altar space, a statue of Ganesh, a picture of Mahalakshmi, it doesn't, the Buddha, a Buddha statue, it doesn't matter. You know, as long as you have something as a touchstone to take you into the truth of your being, that one form is enough.
And my very last 10-cent, five and dime advice would be find your dog or someone else's dog if you don't own one. Connect, go deep, hug that dog. I'm assuming it's a huggable dog. Don't get hurt. But hug that dog until you break your boundaries or what you thought you knew, shift, and then do exactly what she said. You'll be even twice as
Yes.
open headed in. Dogs, oh my God, the energy, and you can hear them like third graders if you'll let go. Julie, thank you so much for coming on the APL Spotlight Series. It's always a treat. We're about to see you again on the regular show, and all the different times that you've appeared should be in the video details of this one, so people can keep checking you out. There are so many other stories, encounters, and advice you've given on the other shows, so very grateful to have you here.
Thank you. It's been wonderful as always, Michael. Thank you.
As they say in India, Om Sai Ram, thank you very much for being here. Great to see you again.
Thank you so much.
Cheers.